Okay, so let's first determine that we have a leak here. I was cleaning this heater out. This is a Goodman 6 burner, and I was cleaning it out. It's a 20-year-old unit, but I smelled a little bit of gas, so I pulled out my gas tester. These things are not that expensive, and it's good to have one in your house or whatever if you think you have any gas leaks. So first I was checking the line connections and seeing if there was anything at the connections that were leaking, and I didn't really find anything, but I smelled some gas a little bit, real faint. It's a very small leak, but what happens here, I turn this noise off, is that when the heater turns on, so now you have that valve completely open and you're sending gas through to the burners, and then when it closes, my guess is what's happening is it's not closing completely, and that's where my gas leak is. So we're going to change this gas valve. So in order to put this on the right way, I believe there should be a union here. That's problem number one. If there was a union here, I'd be able to take this connection off right now and change this valve with no problem. Not that it's going to be a huge problem, but now I have to take it up on the union after the valve, and then turn it out this way from the outside, which my plan is to fix that. Not that I really foresee me having to change this valve again, but that's the right way to do it, so that you could get the proper amount of adjustment on these fittings here, and that they seal right, and you don't over tighten them or under tighten them. And the union over here will allow you to do that, because this one you have to put on the bench off of the unit. So you're going to have to tighten this to a way that the gas valve is in a certain position, which is way more difficult than just the pipe. With the pipe, you can put the pipe dope on and put it to put the right amount of pressure on the pipe when you're tightening up, and it'll be at the perfect connection here, and then you have a perfect connection here, and then you just connect the union together. So we measured that out. Some people complain that the new updated gas valves here, this gas valve is about 5 inches and the new one is about 4 inches, and they make a big deal about that. I don't think that means anything, to tell you the truth. It's just going to change the distance from your connection here into the union. So you're going to have to change the pipe in order to make that fit right. But since we're adding a union in here, it's not really a big deal. So we're going to take this assembly off and we're going to change this valve. And the thing about gas is that you have to be careful. If you're a mechanic and you've worked with piping before like I have, this is not a big deal, because you can be careful. You maybe ran into a couple things before. You're going to use the right kind of dope. You're going to use the right amount of pressure when you're putting the fittings together and all. So it's not really a big deal. So if you've worked with pipes before, this is not going to be anything real major. If you haven't worked with pipes before, then you're probably better off seeking a professional, because it's gas. And then if you have the equipment to check it, that's also very important. So we're going to put this in and we're going to try to show you part of the process. This isn't a tutorial, because this is really basic stuff. This is something that someone who's experienced with pipe can do with no problem, but I'd rather not really. I mean, I want to kind of show the redesign of how you can make this right. The other situation here is that there isn't any drip leg. Well, they kind of use this fitting here, this T fitting, if that's what they call it. If you want to call it a T fitting, I think it's a T fitting. They kind of use that as like a little drip leg. They got that plug in there, but the spec on a drip leg is 3 inches, so I think I got a 4-inch or a 5-inch piece of pipe, which I'm going to add on here as the drip leg, and and that'll wrap it up for that. So let's go on to the changeover, and maybe we'll take a few pictures or some video and try to show you some stuff in here. So in every job, and maybe not in every job, in a lot of jobs there might be a little trick, and in this case it's pretty harmless. You take these couple screws out on the framing here for this valve assembly, and what I did here was I put a little, can you see this? A little crease. This was actually sitting against the frame of the heater, and I just got my pliers and put a little crease in it. Otherwise, it wasn't basically going to come out. And then we'll just straighten that back up. It's not a big deal, and it'll come out real easy. So basically, it took like 2 minutes to get it out. So let's continue on. So I don't know if I can really get a shot of this, but what I'm basically going to do, I have the assembly loose. There's only 4 screws holding it in with that little bend I made, so it came right out. And then I'm going to break the union here. I'm going to take that off, and then I'm going to reposition the burner outside so that I can get through to turn this whole assembly, since there's no union on here. And I'll turn this whole assembly, and that's how we'll get this out. So again, now that I took the union apart, it's just like hanging here. So it's just gonna hang in here. Now I got no leverage here, so I'm gonna get a couple monkey wrenches and just turn this off, and then we can take the entire unit apart and put it together with the union on the bench, so to speak. So it's easier. So now that we have everything out, I put it on a table, and we're gonna make note of the gas valve's position, because it sits in there fixed, so you kind of want it in a certain position, if at all possible, to get it there. So we're going to make note of that, and we're going to change this section over here. We're going to change to I think it's a 10-inch piece and a union, and a 6-inch piece that'll be fixed over here coming in, and that'll allow us to make the connection on this pipe real easy, and make the connection on the valve real easy. So it would take like 2 minutes to change it after this, if you use my bend the case little trick. So just a quick note, here's the new gas valve. As you can see, it's smaller, and in the back there's a thing that shows you the gas flow, which is obviously towards the burner. So this is the way it goes in, and you can see the size difference. And I put a little marking here to approximately where the front would be. And let's get it together. So now, as you can see, it's one piece with the union. So we just have to mount it and connect the union. We have the other side that's going to be with the union from the supply. And you could take that off easily, but here's just the one piece. It's easily accessible if I made a mistake or if it has to be repaired again. Okay, so you can see the finished product here. Again, just on this Goodman, two screws on each side, and the manifold pretty much comes off. And then that changeover from the 5-inch valve, this is the one that superseded the original number, according to what I could find out. I mean, there's not a ton of information, but this is supposed to be the one, the valve for this unit. And what we did here now is we put a union on the end of the manifold. So now what you could do is near the valve, so you could just pull that union off and 4 screws and take the entire assembly out if you had to in like 2 minutes. And then we added a couple inches to the drip leg, and pretty much that's and there's the union and how we got it out. So that's a done job. There is one question that I had, and I don't know exactly how this happened, but I checked the continuity on the coil in the valve, and it's reading 0, but it's working. So I don't know if there's a safety device there, or the terminals had like some kind of chemical on them that was scratched when I put the terminals in, but it is working. I'm probably going to check it again. If anybody knows if there's a safety device in there that prevents you from reading the coil on the 2 terminals. I did an ohms check on my old one, and it was working because it was just leaking. The coil was working, so I don't know why that's happening, but it is working. Just gonna check this, make sure. That's the closest. We were getting gas here in the furthest burner, so seems good. Everything is neat, looks good. We're gonna make a call for heat now. So I just called for heat. Saucepan came on. There's igniter. There she goes. You can see a nice blue flame when the igniter goes off. A couple seconds. It looks good. It looks nice and blue. I just wanted to say on this gas valve, I didn't get any the resistance on the coil on the valve because there's some kind of circuitry in there. I didn't know that. The old valve just had a coil, and you can check resistance on the 2 terminals, but the new valve doesn't. So I neatened everything up, and that's going to be a wrap. It's running good. I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.